Hi, in this video we're going to talk about leaves, how we can generate them and how we can control them inside Forester. Here I have an oak tree that is generated from the tree library. Here I have an apple tree with 4 viewport levels and render levels. If I go to my leaves tab, I see that I have leaves being generated and the leaf start level is set to 3. Now, if I set the leaf start level to 5, I'm not going to get any leaves, and that is because I have a total of 4 levels for the branch emission. So the leaf start level is the level at which leaf starts being emitted. If I set it to 1 and I set my viewport levels to 1, I see that leaves are being emitted starting level 1. This is a bit unnatural because I need to have more branching to have the leaves generated. So I'm going to go back to levels 4 and here set the leaf start level to level 4. This means that only the last level will have leaves being emitted. Now the amount of leaves depends directly on the branch segment count. If I go to the branch global, I have the branch segments set to 10. If I set them to 25, for example, I'm going to have 2.5 more leaves. Now, if I wanted to have a high resolution for the segments, but I didn't want to have more leaves, to control the leaf density, I go down to the keep every nth leaf. If I set it to 1, it means that every branch segment is going to have a leaf emitted. If I reduce the leaf size, I can see that more clearly. So for every segment, I have a leaf getting emitted. To reduce the amount of leaves, as I said earlier, you go and increase the keep every nth. Now, this should be increased in odd numbers. For example, 1 or 3 or 5 and so forth. So here, I still have a high density for the branches and I lowered down the amount of leaves. The leaf multiplier does the opposite of keep every nth leaf. If I set it to 2, it's going to multiply the amount of leaves by 2, 3, and so forth. So this is a control level to increase the number of leaves, and this one is to reduce the amount of leaves. And they work together. Now the prune leaves will actually prune out the leaves from the base of the branches. So if I zoom over here, for example, and I set the keep every nth to 1, which means that a leaf will be generated at every branch segment. Here I have the prune leaves set to 2. If I set it to 0, it means that all the segments are going to have leaves. If I set it to 5, it means that the 5th segment onwards is going to have leaves. If I go back to the branch global, I have 10 segments, which means that I'm going to have 5 leaves per branch. If I set the prune leaves to 10, I'm going to have the last segment produce leaves. Okay, so let's say that you wanted to get 1 leaf at the tip of every branch. How do we do that? If you go to the branch global, we see how many segments we have per branch. In this case, we have 10 segments. We go down to the leaves, and here I would first of all reduce the keep every nth leaf to 1. And then I would increase the prune leaves. So if I set it to 10, here I see that I have 2 leaves per branch. All I have to do now is increase the keep every nth leaf to 2, and now I'm going to have 1 leaf per branch. Next we have the pop leaves parameter over here. If we increase it, we reduce the amount of leaves globally within the tree, which means that I'm going to have a regional decrease of the amount of leaves. If I go all the way up to 1, then the leaves are going to decrease, and I'm going to have few leaves. At a level of 1, all the leaves are going to disappear. So this is a parameter that I can use in animation to simulate the shedding of the leaves from a tree. Global prune, if I increase it, then I'm going to have the leaves reduced from the bottom. If I want to remove the leaves from the top, I would check reverse global prune, and I'm going to have the leaves removed from the top. The material count dictates how many materials the leaves can have. So here, if I go up and look at the selection tag for this material, it's set to leaf 1. I'm going to drag different colors for the leaves. This one, I'm going to call it leaf 2. And a third one, which I'm going to call leaf 3. For leaf 3, I'm going to make it slightly more yellowish to be able to tell them apart. Now, all I have to do is go to the leaves and increase the material count. If I set it to 2, I'm going to get these two materials, 1 and 2. And if I set it to 3, I'm going to get all 3 materials added. If I wanted to have a random distribution of these materials, I would check randomize materials. And the leaf materials are going to be randomized across the leaves. I'm going to remove these 2 materials. And don't forget to reduce the material count to 1 in case you did that. Now I'm going to talk about the leaf growth, and for this to play in real time in my view while I'm recording, I'm going to reduce the branch level count to 5. First, if I go to my tree parameters, I have a general grow parameter that I can use to grow the tree. And the leaves grow normally at the end of the growth value. You can also grow the leaves independently and make use of the growth overlap parameter. So here, if I reduce this, I see that the leaves are gonna grow, but not all at the same rate. So with the general grow parameter, all the leaves grow together. If I zoom in, I can see this more clearly. So here all the leaves are growing together. While if I use the leaf growth parameter, I see that the leaves are going to grow according to the growth overlap. If I increase the value of the growth overlap to 100, it means that there is no overlap at all, and every leaf is going to grow independently after the one before it has fully grown. So the growth overlap is an inverse value for the overlap concept. If I reduce the growth overlap to 10, it means that the leaves are going to grow together in chunks. And this will give me a more natural growth for the leaves. If I reduce it down, say to 2, the groups of leaves that are going to grow together are going to be bigger. So here, if I reduce it all the way down, I'm going to go back to the way the leaves grow with the tree growth parameter. A good value to use is the default, which is 20. And this will simulate the growth of the leaves in groups in a natural manner.